without risk of being found out and deported. It was around that time she decided to begin advocating for herself and others like her. And today, Astrid Silva is a college student working on her third degree, who visited every year from Mexico, passed away. And she couldn't travel to the funeral without risk of being found out and deported.
It's just because of the sheer fear of being found out and being called an imposter. You might undermine your own achievements, oh, that was nothing, or, anyone could have done it. You might not recognise the achievements for what they actually are. You might recognise it as an achievement, but you might think, it actually wasn't too much, anyone could have done it. Or you might recognise it as an achievement and always be crediting other people in the team rather than taking that praise yourself. And behind this, to a greater or lesser degree, there may be just a constant fear of failure that, if something goes wrong, then that's when everyone will realise, just what you are and just what you're capable of or what you're not capable of. So, it's clear from this that imposter syndrome, you can develop anxiety, you can develop stress.
You're going to fake it. You're going to do every talk that you ever get it. I was so afraid of being found out the next day that I called her and said, I'm quitting. She was like, you are not quitting because I took a gamble on you and you're staying. You're going to stay, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to fake it. You're going to do every talk that you ever get asked to do. You're just going to do it and do it and do it, even if you're terrified and just paralyzed and having an out-of-body experience until you have this moment where you say, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Like, I have become this. I am actually doing this.
In the position of a small group. Thirdly is the fear of being found out. In a small group, we can get found out because there's nowhere really to hide. And maybe there's not the self-esteem to be able to handle being found out. Maybe there's just the arrogance of, well, I'm spiritual enough, I'm self-sufficient, I don't really need anyone.
Or not love you, that it just made you always in fear of, being found out.
Race. And finally, don't let your fear of being found out keep you from going after what it is that excites and inspires you. Don't dial down your ambition for fear of being exposed. In fact, it's only when you dare to put yourself out there in situations where you do risk exposure, where you do risk being found out as inadequate, that you come to realise the only thing you really had to be afraid of is that little imposter, that fearful voice inside your head.
You feel like you're one step closer to being found out. All those things you've earned, they just feel like they're getting you closer to the place where people are going to know that you shouldn't have earned them at all. But the reality is, the world doesn't look like this. The genius is kind of a myth. Everyone's trying stuff. The reality is that our whole lives, everyone's been developing the way that they'll see the world. So it's equal sets of knowledge. Sure, it might overlap some places, and some people are always going to know more than you in some areas. Some people might know less. To somebody else, you might seem like you have it completely figured out.